Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Unleash Your Inner Badass. And we are the Beach Boss Influencers. It's a coaching community for entrepreneurs and network marketers where we teach you how to stop chasing everyone and how to start attracting not only people, the right people, the money, the success, everything that you want in life. And today we're going to talk about something that happens to everyone. It's actually what triggered this conversation. I got an email yesterday from one of my mentors. And when I saw the subject line, it shook me to the core. I'm like, this person can see through me, through the web, like through the email. I'm like, what the heck? So it's really touched me. I mean, he's a good copywriter, obviously. But it touched me deeply. And when I was reading the email, I was like, yep, this is me. This is me. This is also me. And I realized that there's so many things I need still to work through, right? To become whoever I want to become, to get things from life that I want to get. And Brandy got a good point. Like, at what point do we stop, like, improving ourselves and setting the bar higher and higher, right? So what we're going to talk about today is, are you, like all of us, and me in particularly, hiding behind the masks that used to serve you in the past? And it could be like, I'm introverted, or I'm not organized, or I'm procrastinator. So all those things actually not who you really are. They're the masks that you were wearing probably all your life to fit in, to please other people, to achieve, to feel loved, to feel in control, whatever else that you needed in life. We created those masks and we wear them so comfortably. And sometimes it feels like, well, this is just who I am. This is my personality. But in reality, those masks no longer serving you and they're actually holding you back. So are you going to do something about it? Or you're just going to go with the flow and be who you are and think that, well, there's nothing I can do. It's just who I am. And also, at what point you stop and you're like, well, I'm happy just the way it is. I don't need to improve anything. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Who wants to open the can of worms today?
Well, I love it because I think it falls in line with your identity, right? We have this identity, and we actually have two different identities. There's an external version of ourselves, and then there's also an internal version of ourselves. And when our external identity doesn't match our internal identity, that's when we're actually stuck. That's when we feel stuck. We feel like we can't move. We can't be ourselves. We can't grow a business. We can't grow a team. We can't, regardless, we feel stuck and at times it's discomfort. You can also feel fear. You can feel kind of all the negative emotions is when things start coming out, and you end up having a negative experience with whatever you're doing. And it's because there's the disconnect between the outer version of you and the inner version of you. So it's how do we, I don't want to say convince. What's the word I'm looking for? But maybe convince is the word. How do we convince
How do we
align? Yeah, how do we align with who we want to be and who we actually are?
And sometimes we don't even know who we want to be. We don't
know who we are.
We don't know who we are.
We don't even know who we are at our core, because sometimes for so long we have been trying to fit in. We have been trying to be that people pleaser. We have been trying to, be accepted by your peers, by, people around you, that we have buried who we really are. And this may be going on for 40 years that this has been happening. And so, like Kat says, you then believe that the person that you are is who you are, whereas it probably is not. And that person has been hidden. And whether it has been, trauma that's happened in your past that has forced you, probably maybe forced you, or, made you create this persona to fit in, this persona to be accepted, this persona that you then identify with, that you think, okay, well, this is me. This is who I am. And it if we try and unpeel the layers, try and unpeel the onion layers, and Rochelle just says, I've just described her. But if we try and peel back the layers, and come to, try and discover and become aware of what has happened maybe a year ago, maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, that has made us, create this person, to protect ourselves, to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to feel loved, to feel accepted, to feel that you fit into this big wide world. And it's hard. It's really hard work, because sometimes you think, well, okay, maybe this isn't really me. Maybe I'm not the introvert. Maybe I'm not the shy person, and I became that person because somebody at school ridiculed me. Somebody at school made me feel stupid for speaking up. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut, because if I just keep my mouth shut, then nobody's going to laugh at me. Nobody's going to make a fool of me. Nobody's going to, and then that is the person that you
And you feel
became.
safe that way.
And you feel safe and comfortable living in that world. And, it's once you can become aware of what has happened to make you become this person, to make you, develop this identity, okay, external, and it may be right now, it may be what you think is your internal identity as well, because you just actually don't know who you really are. I mean, this is something that I have been thinking about for a long time.
Let us know, guys. Does it make sense to you where it's landing for you? And I'm gonna share one of my masks, and I already kind of like shared a little bit. Is I used to be very shy, and I never spoke up in school. Like I would never raise my hand, although I knew all the answers, because I don't even remember how and when this happens. Probably, like Fran said, somehow I said something and kids made fun of me. And it's actually worse if a teacher says something to you, right? And when you're a little kid who is like, oh, I just thought it would be a good idea to say something like this, and boom, they shut you down. And for me, it was the feeling of embarrassment. I never wanted to feel that way again. Like, and I created all this safety mechanism to make sure I would never feel embarrassed, right? And the easiest one was, I'm just never going to speak up, because what if I'm wrong? And maybe I'm not wrong. What if someone's still going to make fun of me and make me feel embarrassed? So if I stayed that way and I kept wearing this mask up to this day, none of this what's going on right now would happen. None of it would happen. And can you imagine how, little change that I started making several years ago, how it's not only impacted my life, but now impacting so many other people. Like that's like ripple effect. So you have to start working on it. But the first step, you have to be aware. What are some of those identity personalities, whatever traits you call them, masks? I call them masks because it's not who you really are. And actually, we had an incredible 7-figure workshop last weekend. And now, if I just have an impulse like, hey, I need to share this, I don't even know who needs to hear this. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense. It's not planned in our workshop, right? I have to share it. If I was still wearing my old mask, I would never share it. I'll be sitting there like, oh, what the heck is going on in my mind? Shut it off, shut it off. No one needs to hear it. But now every time I have that impulse that I have to share it, and sometimes I don't even know if anyone needs to hear it. I just have the impulse, and it's very strong. And I used to be very strong too, even in school when I was, 7, 10 years old. It was strong, but I would just, I would shut it down. So now I share it regardless. People might be still rolling eyes and like, oh, what the heck is she talking about, right? I don't give a flipping heck. Like, I don't care. There might be one person in that audience that need to hear it. That's it. maybe they don't need to hear it. Maybe I needed to hear it out loud, right? To better understand my own world. So that's what I'm trying to say, that identify those masks, those personality trait that you think like, well, this is just who I am. This is how I was born and I can't do anything about it. This is total BS. We were all born amazing. Like we were all born with a huge potential, right? We were all born to shine and inspire others and do great things. So why you think you're not that person anymore? You are. You just need to dig deeper and find that person and let that person shine. Let that person speak up. Let that person say what you need to say. So here's my story.
I think a big part of like what Fran in this process, is the awareness piece. And for a long time, well, not for a long time, but you can't change something that you're not aware of, right? So maybe you're stumbling upon this live, and just this conversation alone is like sparking that, like, oh my gosh, and you're replaying a lot of these situations now, maybe that have happened in your life, right? Because that is like, you like just woke up, right? Like you're now aware that this can impact a lot of things in your life and impact things in your business. Right? Like the dots are connecting. So I hope that like from this, you take away an awareness so that when you're catching yourself moving forward, right? Feeling a certain way about your business, being stuck, other things in your life, you can connect that dot, right? And know, oh my gosh, this is playing a role in what I'm doing. And then, just by the thought of being aware, you start asking yourself questions, right? You get curious. Why might I be thinking that? Like, what has come up in my life that has created this feeling for myself? And you dig yourself, right? You peel back those onion layers like what Fran was saying, on yourself, and really start digging to do the work, right? And once you uncover that, right, then you're able to be like, oh my gosh, I've been holding on to this for so long. And, you're able to move past it and really let those things start going in your life, so that as you move forward, as you are, working on the goals that you have for your life, your family, whatever that looks like, those things won't continue to drag you down. And you're able to kind of like, I want to like, how do you describe it? I guess kind of like in the movie Forrest Gump, when he starts to run and he's in those like braces, and it's like a freedom, and they just start slowly breaking off from the screws to like one of the pieces to the cuff that's keeping them together. And it just all starts coming off. And it's like a break free of the person and the powers and the capabilities that you really do have in life. I guess that's how like I describe it when I see, kind of like that breakthrough.
That's a really good visual, Adrienne.
Because it's like you're breaking through of what Kat says, like that mask is shattering, right? And you on that internal person that Carrie described, right, are matching up to the external version of yourself. They're like coming together, right? And it's like, I don't know, like light shining through this crack. I don't know, you guys, it's like this.
Yeah.
We keep going, Adrienne. It's so good.
There's a really good book that I read several years ago that's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, written by Joe Dispenza. So this is one of the first books where I realized this is actually me who created my life and no one else, right? Based on those masks and based on all those patterns that have been controlling my life and how I show up, how my external self show up, and it wasn't aligned with my internal self. So once you start that work, aligning those two together, that's where all the magic's going to be happening. And this work is not easy. Not easy at all. It's going to take some courage. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some work. And this kind of work, actually the hardest, right? Go and do things, make posts, write emails, and message people in Messenger. That's easy stuff. Like that's if you think that's hard, wait until you start doing the inner work. That's the real work that most people actually ignore because they're like, oh, I just need to work harder, or I just need to figure out how to get more time in the day, blah, 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 blah. No, you need to figure out how to master this inner game. And once you do that, and it's actually what also was a huge aha moment, your external world is a match to your internal world. So if you think like you're this shy, introverted person that should never speak up and you're just average, and you don't deserve nice things and you don't even need to make $100,000 a month because that's just greedy, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, your external world will be matching exactly what you're thinking about yourself. It's like, what's your current internal image of yourself? Look outside. That's what you manifested in your life. And if you want different things in life, you need to start with the internal world, and the external world will match up with that.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Like, so
when-
if you have this vision for your business, right, for your life, of maybe being on, being recognized on stage, right, for a rank or whatever, a high rank, for earning that trip incentive, for earning that whatever or income that you want, and be able to take your family on vacations and whatnot. But internally, right, you are out of alignment with that, right? There's a disconnect in that alignment, okay? Because you're like, but what, I'm shy, but I want that external, right? But internally, I'm telling myself that you're creating resistance in your business, right? So like what Kat was saying is, if you can address that and get to where those things match up, step into those bigger shoes, face those things head on, right? What is my resistance with having to go live? Okay, I'm afraid of people judging me or what people might say. Okay, well, you know what? I really, really want those things. I want to have that external life that I want for myself and my family. I'm going to have to step into those bigger shoes and bring those things together. So, ask yourselves those questions, recognize that in real time. And that's how you get there faster.
So how you can start working on those things. For example, take that shy girl that didn't speak up. And here's what's going to happen first time you decide to speak up. That embarrassment going to come out again because this is the pattern, right? We've been experiencing, and it's going to come up even though no one might judge you. No one might say anything to make you feel embarrassed, but you just will feel that embarrassment because our body stores our emotions and they show up every time. It's the same pattern. They show up, even though your world is different. Those people no longer in your world that embarrassed you first time, but it's just how it works. It's the mechanism. So you're going to speak up for the first time. You're automatically going to feel embarrassed. But here's the good part. Your 5-year-old self or 7 or 12 did not know how to deal with that embarrassment. You only knew I can go cry or I can go, it's almost like death to you. If I feel that again, I'm going to die, right? It's a big deal. We might be crying. We might be going to like withdrawal or like be mad at the whole world because we don't know how else to deal with these feelings. Now you're an adult. You have different nervous system. You have different environment. You have different support system, different mindset, and different body. So it's going to be a lot easier this time. So know if the embarrassment shows up, this is just how your body responds to the same pattern. And now, well, it's okay to feel embarrassed sometimes, right? It's not a big deal. Like maybe someone said something and you got embarrassed again, but just deal with it. Like take your nervous system back into, how would you calm yourself down? Because usually it's like our face get red, our palms get sweaty, our heart start beating a little bit faster. Notice those things and just sometimes taking like a deep breath will calm all that down. As simple as that. So figure out which tools you can use right now to deal with when those feelings arise. And right now, it's going to be a lot easier than when you were 5 or 10 years old. Trust me.
So on a deeper level, Kat said that your body remembers what your mind forgets. Okay, always. And so when you are faced with something that has been traumatic for you in the past, something that you've been trying to protect yourself from, if you can release it from your body, then your mind won't remember it anymore. Okay?
It's like you building a new memory.
You build a new memory.
You replace that old one with a new one.
This is the hard work. Okay. So if you can, for example, Hillary talks about past school trauma. Okay. What happened at school? How did it make you feel? I want you then to start feeling it in your body. Feel it in your body, and how does that make you feel? And how might you release it from your body? And it might be going into a room and screaming. It might be, so it might be looking like a crazy person. All right. It might be looking like you're absolutely stark raving mad. All right. Maybe you need to get in your car and drive to some quiet spot where nobody can see or hear you and release it from your body. What is it going to take to release it from your body? Is it screaming at the top of your voice? Is it crying? Is it taking a baseball bat and beating the crap out of your bed? Okay. What is it going to take? And this sounds crazy. Okay. But when you can release it from your body, then the next time that something happens, okay,
it's not going to affect you the same way.
It won't affect you the same because and it may take multiple times. Like this happens again, you think, oh, shit, it's still there. Okay, I need to do that practice again. I need to go and do that again and keep trying to release this from my body so that it doesn't remember.
Do you guys notice how animals shake themselves after they go through, a fight, or let's say if a deer was chased by a lion or whatever and they get away, they're just gonna go and shake for some time to release that stress.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that. So what Fran said, it's kind of builds up in our system and we need to shake it off. Like sometimes even if you just get up and shake your body after a stressful situation or whatever, that alone can go, a long way and help you not to deal with the same stress again the same way. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. In the same way that when you feel joy, we always tell our students, it's like feel the joy in your body because again, your body will remember it. So let us know what your biggest takeaway has been. And let us know if, Hillary and Rochelle have actually shared here, what they have discovered has, been keeping them stuck. So if if you're aware of what it is, actually just writing it down for the first time is going to be the first step in your journey to healing. So let us know, what is it that, has been, that you've been hiding from? What is it that has been keeping you stuck? What is it? What has happened in your past that has dictated, who you are now, who's not really who you truly are? Let us know. And let us know what your biggest takeaway has been. We'd love to hear. We will see you again soon. Until next time, have an awesome day. With so much love to you all from all the beaches. Bye-bye.